Hey there, I just wanted to show some of my creations that I've made in the past. At one point I was planning to do a YouTube video about all of the builds that I've made, and I just haven't gotten to it. The builds themselves are quite a bit of work, and then I just don't end up filming enough of it during the process, and I never ended up getting to it. So here I am now, making a video about some of the stuff that I've done in the past. Thought it's kind of cool. And I'm just usually constantly working on some kind of project of some sort, so I just wanted to put out there some of the stuff that I've done. And here's a couple of the projects. These are at my parents' house right now. I have a couple at my house. They've been stored here because I live in an apartment, and there's not a lot of space for some of this stuff, and so I keep it here. And byproduct of that is that some of this stuff has been damaged to some extent, you could say. It's in the garage, and there's not just me that come here, so they've taken some damage, but for the most part they're mostly intact. Here's one thing. This is one of the first big projects that I worked on. Really proud of it. It's one of the main things I put online first. This is the staff, the ice staff from Origins, from Call of Duty Zombies Black Ops 2. I thought this was really cool. It was my favorite weapon in the game, and I had just got a 3D printer. It was like a new thing to me, and I was like, "Wow, this thing is so cool." I was playing a lot of Black Ops at the time, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be awesome if you could 3D print this thing? Because I love it. It's an awesome weapon. And so I started looking online for it, and I found out that no one ever made these things 3D printable. They don't exist outside of the game. And I thought about it more, and I thought, these are just game files. There's 3D files already in the game. There should be a way to get these things out and 3D print them. And so I went on a journey of figuring out how to do that. And as you can tell, I did that successfully. Pulled a bunch of the files out and basically turned them into 3D printable objects. This is sliced up into a bunch of individual pieces. This is broken right here. This will pop right off, but I guess that's a good example. So like this is made out of a bunch of small individual pieces that are assembled onto a single piece of conduit that runs down the entire length of the staff. They're all just stacked on top of each other and glued all together. And then I added the wire in here. This is electrical wire, 12 gauge, just put into place and drilled through with Dremel. This is accurate to where it is actually in the game. Here you can see a seam line. That's where two pieces are joined together. This was on my original 3D printer, so the resolution and quality of the print is not amazing. It's what I was working with at the time. So, this is made of maybe 25 pieces. And by the way, this is all online for free to download. You can download this right now on Thingiverse. I'll put a link in the description to where you can find it. But all of these pieces, you just basically assemble them all together, boom, 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 and stack them on top of each other, and you end up with a full staff. There were a bunch of requests for the other staffs in the game. If you know the game, you know that there are 4 of these things. This is one of 4. And I decided, hey, I did one, let's do the other one. So I didn't actually 3D print the other 3 because this is a ton of filament and time, but I did 3D model and prepare the other files for the other 3 staves. So those are also available for download online right now for anybody that wants to go grab themselves another Origin staff and print them out. They're relatively printer friendly. Obviously this takes quite a bit of work to assemble and put together, but they should be pretty straightforward to print out. If you want to do one of these things, it's within your ability if you have a 3D printer that's an average size. I think a Bamboo Lab X1C will be just fine to print out something like this. I used a lot of different colored filaments for the various pieces and crystals. Originally, I had planned to put an Arduino in here. So there's actually a space for an Arduino to fit inside of this centerpiece and run wires to these LEDs. And I was going to make it so you could press the trigger and the LEDs would light up in sequential order, just like you charge the staff in the game before you let it go. I didn't end up doing that because I was running low on time. This was for the convention PAX in Seattle, Washington. They have a convention. A lot of people dress up for cosplay. I wanted this to be ready in time. And so that feature got cut, but the infrastructure is still here. So if you decide that you wanted to do something like that, there is a spot for an Arduino, and you could wire it up that way if you'd like to. You can see there are some metal pieces I included in here, such as this ring and these posts. I soldered this together. This is brass you could find at your local hardware store, and this is solder. You just solder the brass pieces together. This bottom piece is also brass. I don't love the way this looks, honestly. It's kind of crappy. And I went back and redid this file in 3D, so now this is actually a nice made 3D piece instead of brass. So if you make your own, this is actually now printable pretty easily instead of brass. But yeah, that's the origin staff. You can see it's got some spider webs on it. It's got a little... Now it is a staff of the ancients, right? Gotta have that patina on there. Anyway, this was a big first project that I did. It really kind of started me off on my 3D printing journey. Pretty proud of it for that reason. Not long after, I decided, hey, you know, what's my favorite weapon of all time? Well, the Thompson submachine gun from World War II is awesome. I love it. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if there was a double Thompson where you have two upper receivers? So I decided, oh, well, I'll make one. I have a friend that has an airsoft Thompson, and I can use it for reference. And so I went ahead and did that. I made a Thompson. This is just a static model, so there's no moving pieces in this. It's just because it's cool. It's a double Thompson. You know, you got both barrels right here. My buddy who had an airsoft Thompson is like a replica of the original, like 1-to-1. Like that thing is so close to the actual weapon itself. I used that to create this, so most of the dimensions from this are pretty darn close to the actual Thompson. And this is actually a bunch of different pieces combined together along where seams naturally lie. So like there's these barrels join into the upper receiver, they slot in. I have myself a grip here that bolts into the barrels. And these upper receivers, if you can see this seam line right here, they slide onto the lower part of the receiver here. So they slot on. There's kind of like a rail system that just slots onto that rail. And then obviously you can see where this joins here and here. So that's kind of how that goes. The original idea behind this I thought would be cool would be to have this be converted into an airsoft gun that has two upper receivers, so you could actually use this thing as an airsoft gun in an airsoft battle and have just put an insane amount of rounds down the field. I still think that's a pretty good idea. At the time, I did some research and found that there was I think it was like an MG42 or a P90 gearbox would be compact enough to fit up here, so you could fit two of them and one trigger to control both. Most airsoft guns have the motor sitting inside of the handle, but because of those two specific types of gearboxes, the motor system is a little bit different and doesn't sit in the handle, which would allow you to stick it in an upper receiver. I didn't end up taking action on that project because the cost was prohibitive. It was a little bit expensive to buy all those pieces, and it's like, I don't have that kind of money to invest in this. So I didn't end up pursuing that further. But honestly, the more I'm thinking about this, I might come back to this project and finish it out, because that would be pretty sweet, having an airsoft double Thompson. Obviously, there's plenty of room in the stock for a battery, and wiring it up would be no problem for me. I'd probably make a video about it if I come back to this. So this is definitely potentially on the table still to do a video about that. But yeah, there's the double Thompson. I thought it's pretty cool. The next thing is I love the Wonder Weapons from the Call of Duty franchise, and one of the most popular weapons is the Thunder Gun. Once again, this is a prop that's sustained considerable damage, but as you can see, it goes something like this. You can see it's been broken. I came down here today to find this and put it back together, and I had found that someone had set a vacuum cleaner on top of this, and it was like this when I found it. So, you know, that's just the way it is sometimes around here. But you can see this is your classic Thunder Gun. This one is the only model that I sell. It's for sale for $10 on CG Trader. You can find a static model that's a singular piece of all these fused together for free. But the model that's built to print and assemble is $10 on CG Trader. I don't know. I might eventually make this free. But basically, all of these are individual pieces you can print out on a regular size printer. These are all individual pieces that print out and then stick together like Legos, kind of. They drop into here inside of this. This tube is an individually printable piece. This handle's another piece. And then this front section here of the gun. All these are individual pieces. It's probably, I don't know, 20 pieces total, and then you assemble and glue it all together and paint it, or you could multicolor print it. At the time that I made this, multicolor printing was not a regular thing, so it was expected you just kind of have to paint everything. Now multicolor printing is a thing, so yeah, this is, you could probably multicolor print most of this. But yeah, that's the Thunder gun. Here's some of the other parts of the prop that were damaged, such as this, which sits right here, and this guy, which sits right there. Little dial and knob and whatnot. But yeah, this is kind of a fun one. I need to get this thing back together. If only I had more space in my apartment. Anyway, that's kind of some of my background projects. We'll probably cut the video and then pick it up again when I get back to my house and show you a couple of the smaller things that I've been working on as well. So, hey, editing Y here. I think I'm gonna cut the video there. I was looking at the footage and there's like a lot. It's like 10 plus minutes, and if I cut it down, then it's gonna end up being like 20 minutes, and no one's gonna watch for that long, I think. So I'm gonna turn it into 2 parts, and this will be part 1, and then I'll have part 2 I'll release in the next few days or so that shows some of the smaller stuff that's at my apartment. There's my main printer right here, actually, so you can see it, Bamboo Lab. Anyway, like and subscribe if you want to. Do whatever you want. But yeah, leave a comment if you like the builds, or if you think I should build something else, or if you have any questions. Since my channel's like pretty much nothing right now, I can read all of them and respond. So if you want to like say something, say something, So cool. Yeah, see you guys later.